Yohan Traore committing to the Auburn Tigers. Bruce Pearl went and nabbed him after Yohan decommitted from the LSU Tigers just a few short. Was it a couple of weeks ago? Was it a few days ago? It was a very short time between him decommitting and him committing to the Auburn Tigers. A 5-star center out of Napa, California, 6'10", 235-pound big man. He is the second highest rated recruit in Auburn basketball history. Huge addition for the Tigers. He chose Auburn over Gonzaga. Excuse me, not Georgia. Wasn't even considering. Chose Auburn over Gonzaga, Texas Tech, Michigan, and the G League. Take that, G League. We got you one. All these different players that have considered coming to the Auburn Tigers instead of the G League. Very thankful that we were able to finally nab a kid that was thinking about making a transition to the next level. I went, watched some film on him, got a little bit of a scouting report here for you. Going to talk about what this means for Auburn's roster as well. I'm also going to read the 24/7 Sports scouting report, similar to mine, but just figured I'd throw it out there for you. My scouting report, he's your modern big man. I guess you could classify him as a stretch 5. He could play the 5. He could play the 4. He's got extended range shooting, but I think he's going to primarily work around the basket for the Tigers. He's very comfortable generating offense, whether it be facing the basket or with his back to the basket. He can do either. He's got solid post moves. He's also got a solid frame. Like I mentioned, 6'10", 235 pounds. He's oddly comfortable with the basketball in his hands. And this is something that we said a little bit. We even talked about this, I believe, on yesterday's show. Might have been the day before. Talking about Walker Kessler. He's got soft hands, right? He can catch the ball. He can dribble it. He's very, very comfortable at his size doing things that most centers couldn't do. Traore is very, very interesting because you go and watch some of the film. I mean, there are some moments where he doesn't operate well in the fast break. That's not how high school teams utilized him. I believe it was Dream City Christian. That was the school he was playing at in Phoenix. He's from Napa, but I believe he played in Phoenix, Arizona. But they used him in the half court, and there would be moments where he would get a look at the top, and he'd just be like, I'm just going to drive it. Just going to drive it straight to the hole, get a layup, get a dunk. Very, very comfortable with the ball in his hands. And that's why I kind of said, I think you could classify him as a stretch 5. He's your modern NBA type big man. He can handle the ball. He can shoot it. And by the way, I think that it is worth noting he has extended range. He can shoot the 3. I think it's very important to note he can shoot the 3, which I think is definitely something that Bruce Pearl used probably as a recruiting tactic. Look, we let our guys shoot 3s here, every single one of them. And if you want to be able to take that shot, you take that shot. Although I will say, I think he's more comfortable, and I think he's going to opt to take mid-range jumpers more often than not. Is that an efficient shot? Kind of, but we can talk about that at a later date once we actually get to see this kid play a little bit. He should be strong on the pick and roll and the pick and pop for Auburn. It's something that was a huge part of their offense this past season, specifically the pick and roll between Wendell Green Jr. and Walker Kessler. I'm excited to see what Traore does because, like I said, even with the pick and pop, this kid can actually shoot. Walker Kessler, all due respect to him, I think that one of the things that one of the negatives about Walker Kessler's game is his shooting. He took a decent amount of 3s last season, didn't make a whole lot. He's shooting, I believe, a little bit over 26% in conference play, which is not great. I would like to see if Kessler does elect to come back, which we'll talk about that in a second. If he does elect to come back, I would like to see him work on his 3-point shot. If he goes to the NBA, if he's going to take those types of looks, I'd like to see an NBA team try and develop him a little bit and develop that shot for him. But this guy can actually shoot it. I mean, he's got really good form, really, really good form for a 6'10" guy. He's not Jabari Smith shooting form. He's not at that level. But I'm very impressed with what I saw during his some of his film that I took a look at. Defensively, he's got length, and he was switching on to smaller players in high school and doing a really good job of defending them, making sure that they didn't get to the basket. It's similar to Kessler in the fact that he's got so much length. You can let a kid drive on you to his right, but the moment that he goes to put a shot up, if he thinks he's gotten by you, you're sticking that paw out there, you're getting a block. He's lengthy, he's quick. I would say something about his game though. He's a patient player. I wouldn't say he's slow. Like I said, he's got a little bit of speed. He can get to the basket quickly, but he's a patient player. I really like his timing, not just on the defensive end, but on the offensive end as well. Does a really good job of picking and choosing his spots, and he does a really good job of timing his decisions, whether it be to shoot, whether it be to back somebody down, make a post move, get a block. He's very knowledgeable about the game. I can tell he's got untapped potential, and he understands what's going on. He's making his decisions at the right time. We can develop him a little bit. I think he's going to turn into a star. Auburn's going to ask him, like I mentioned, to switch on to quicker players, and that's something that Auburn's defense has kind of been known for. That's actually something that LSU's defense was known for. The school that Traore was originally committed to is switching and trying to get these big men to play against assignments that most coaches would deem a bad matchup. I think that Yohan Traore is definitely able to play well defensively. I think 1 through 5. Again, like I mentioned, he's a very patient player, but I would also note that he's very aggressive around the rim. And this is something that other scouting reports have said is like he's looking to dunk the ball or get a layup every single opportunity that he gets. But in my opinion, after getting to watch some film, he picks and chooses his spots when to do that. He picks those spots and that he's very good at timing that. He's very good at timing. Should I go get a dunk right now? I was impressed with his offensive game. Very aggressive around the rim, but picks and chooses his spots well. He's also not a great jumper, which is something I noticed. Like he likes to dunk, he really likes to dunk, but he's not a huge. He doesn't have a lot of hops. But I mean, do you really need to at 6'10"? I mean, you could just kind of dunk on everybody anyway. The comp that I've got, and I saw somebody else have this comp, but I was thinking about it actually beforehand, and not like I'm some genius. It was just like, oh look, somebody else out there agrees with me. My NBA comp is Laurie Markkinen. I believe he's currently on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Very similar in they don't have a lot of hops, but really strong post moves. They have extended range. They can handle the ball a little bit. They can play offensively towards the basket or with their back to the basket, kind of stretch five type of guys. So that was my comp. And then here's 24/7 Sports scouting report. Traore, and if I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. That's what I've heard is Traore. Traore is a skilled, efficient, and productive big man with a good natural frame. His efficiency comes in how he generally plays within himself offensively, and he does what is asked of him on the floor. Traore displays a natural shooting touch, not only inside, but out to 15 feet, and he always looks to dunk everything he possibly can, like I just said, while operating inside or in the dunker spot. He also has great hands, is a solid rebounder, and runs the floor with purpose. Traore has the size, mobility, and skill as a big man that high major guards would love to play with. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier is I think that you can run a two-man game, you can run a pick and pop, a pick and roll really efficiently with this kid because he has that extended range. 24/7 Sports says out to 15 feet. I saw a lot of film of him in high school just knocking down three-point jumpers in the half court where they would run sets and get him in the corner, get him in the wing, get him straight away. He can shoot from wherever. Again, he's not Jabari Smith level, and I'm interested to see how that shooting translates statistically to the collegiate game because I didn't pull up stats on this kid. I didn't see what he was shooting from three, but he's got really good form, and he was knocking down a lot from what I could tell. So, what does this mean for Auburn's roster? The addition of the second highest rated recruit in Auburn history, just behind Jabari Smith. What does it mean for Kessler? What does it mean for Jalen Williams? What does it mean for potentially another guy that could be coming in, Julian Phillips, a five-star power forward? Well, let's talk about Walker Kessler first. There's the question, does he stay or does he leave for the NBA draft? Should he stay or should he go? It's a great song. But Walker Kessler, I think that if he does elect to return, which I don't think he's going to, but if he does elect to return, you've got Walker Kessler at the 5. And like I said earlier, Traore's kind of a stretch dude. So I think you could play him at the 4. Could you start him at the 4? I would like to think that that would be possible. You got a 6'10". Well, we said the same thing about Jabari Smith. You got a 6'10" guy out there at power forward that can shoot. But Traore, I think, is a little bit more physical than Jabari Smith was. Not a better shooter, but more physical, I think. So you could potentially start him at the 4 if Kessler returns. If he doesn't, then you put him at the 5, and then you take a look at your power forward situation. You've got Jalen Williams at the 4, and Bruce Pearl, like we noted a couple of days ago, might have even been yesterday's show. All the days are blending together for me at this point. He noted that it was like, I'm excited to build the team around Jalen Williams whenever this next season comes around. And I think that a lineup consisting of Zep Jasper, Katie Johnson, Chance Westry, or Alan Flanagan, and then you've got Jalen Williams and Yohan Traore. That's an interesting look. It's an interesting look. I would be really excited to see what Williams does in an extended role because I believe in him. I think he's a talented player. But if Kessler does leave and Traore comes in, he's playing at the 5, and Auburn picks up Julian Phillips, what does that mean for Williams? Does he come off the bench? And for me, I mean, if I were in his position, I would just be like, "This sucks." Like I'm a 4th year guy, and I'm still coming off the bench now, even though I got a taste of playing in a starting legitimate role back in 2020. Mistakes that I've been limited to backup duty for 4 years now. I don't know if Williams would transfer in that situation, but if it were me, I'd be like, "Yeah, this ain't fun." But of course, like for an Auburn fan, it's like, dude, we got depth. We got depth. We got Jalen Williams and Julian Phillips playing at the same spot. That's high. Now the issue for me right now with Auburn's depth is at the 3, and I think a lot of you would agree with that. I just slammed my pen into the desk, but I think a lot of people would agree with the fact that Auburn really needs help at the 3. Obviously, Devin Cambridge in the transfer portal. Going to talk about where he landed in a little bit. But I think that Auburn definitely needs to get somebody that can shoot. And I'm curious to see if Chance Westry is going to be that guy. Of course, he's so young. I just don't know if Pearl would feel comfortable letting Westry rock and it just be him and Flanagan. I wouldn't be comfortable with that. So we'll just have to see what else Auburn does with their roster.